cool, weird little, thing. And we all agreed actually that, like, not to go deep, but Cinderella is kind of the wrong band name for what Tom does.
I think
the glammed out thing, and then the name of the band, and then you listen to the record, you're like, holy shit, these guys are like gonna kill you when you hear the song, and then you see the album cover, you're like, what?
There's a little disconnect, I guess. Yeah,
elusive and disconnected and weird in a way. No, I'm not mad about it. It was sign of the times and trends being followed.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I really truly think there are, coming from a fan perspective,
sure.
And make no mistake, I was a huge Cinderella fan,
Sure. Well,
I can tell you where I was the first time I heard Night Songs. I can tell you where I was the first time that I heard Long Cold Winter, and there's still nights where I'm on stage on an occasion, I'll look over and he's singing. I'll just look over and go, man, I cannot believe I'm in a fucking band with this guy.
Yeah. That's cool.
But it's cool. It's a great feeling, man. But I will say, I do think that there's this handful of bands from that decade that get unfairly lumped into, for lack of a better term, because it's a shitty term, but the hairband thing. And it's simply guilt by association. Like they were just happened to be around at the wrong time. And yeah, they made fashion decisions in that time period, like everybody else, that it didn't help their cause.
I wouldn't know that. I personally, I would not know anything about that.
Jason doesn't know anything about that.
Nothing, not at all. So, but and let's be honest, man. You look at that cover of Night Songs, and you don't expect that album to sound like that,
right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think if you take Cinderella, I think if you take Tesla, I think if you take Kicks,
mm-hmm.
I think there's and there's more bands that could be named, and you take their material. Like let's say you take Night Songs, made in '86, on the heels of Pyromania being the biggest record on earth, and you can hear it in the production of Night Songs. But you take that record and you put it out in '78 with Mutt Lange producing, and it's going to sound like the heaviest fucking AC/DC record
right
ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
also think you could take that album and you could have it come out in 1994 with Brendan O'Brien producing it, and it would have had legs then too. But I feel that way about all those bands. I feel that way about Kicks. I feel that way about Tesla. I think, we can all point to bands from that period that are just like, man, never mind the image, never mind the production with the shitty giant arena reverb gated drums and, all the bullshit that was going on, and the bass is so far down in the mix that you're not even sure if the guy was there for the session, and give it a different production treatment, put in a different time, and the record would probably be viewed in a more timeless manner than it is, just because of that window of time that it came out.
That is an excellent spin.
I love that.
So much shit.
Yeah.
I just got goosebumps.
Well, I mean, there's just so many records that got, okay. So I was listening to Eddie Trunk's show the other day in my car, and they were discussing Slave to the Grind by Skid Row, what a heavy record that was. And, versus the first record, which definitely was a little slicker, but, had amazing songs on it too. You can't deny the songs on that first Skid Row record. Also another band that, I think transcends a lot of the bands from that period. And, because dirty rock and roll is dirty rock and roll. It's a great thing. I'm pretty sure Jason will attest to. But Slave to the Grind came out and it debuted #1 on Billboard, like in April of '91, I think it was. Nevermind came out in September of '91. And, you can just see everything change after that record came out. All those bands just get shoved into, obscurity immediately, and all the labels just pulled their back. It's like MTV was like, nope, you're done. And that's it. It was like really brutal, really hard to watch. And, Jason, maybe you can attest to that, because I feel like you lived that a little bit,
Oh yeah. It was like a ditch. It was like house cleaning.
Yeah, you know, and so, but you look at that Skid Row record. It debuted at #1. I saw them on that tour, and the opening band was Soundgarden.
Wow.
On the Bad Motorfinger tour, right as Outshine was blowing up, and that it's to see that package together. It didn't seem weird. It didn't seem disjointed. Soundgarden opening for Skid Row.
Badass show.
It was fucking great. And they gelled together. They jived together. It didn't seem like strange. I mean, you're not going to see Soundgarden open for Poison.
Right.
That wouldn't make sense.
Right.
But, you know.
Skid Row had Pantera open the tour for them that same.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, but then you see all the grunge thing explode and Nevermind come out. And it's like that album started off so strong, it didn't sell nearly as many as the first record, even though it debuted at #1 on Billboard. But if you look at the timeline, they got Monkey Business out, which was a huge single. What was the second single? Slave to the Grind, which did okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then they released In a Darkened Room, I think, was the next one, which the ballad was always that, you know, that was the one, right? And it did nothing. But I'm pretty sure that if you look at the latter two singles from that record, they came out after Nevermind. And the label probably just went, nope, I'm good, and just backed off of it. You know?
They didn't even try. There was too much hope for the other thing to
shiny new toy was
right. Shiny new toy. Yeah. It was going to rocket ship to the moon. There was no doubt, and all the money was over there. But choices were made. That's your point. Choices were made to like look the other way. And I get it. People forget that it's a business, and that you know it's that kind of the dollar bills blowing this way, and you know that's exactly what happened. What made me angry about that, and this is just a perspective, is that there were a lot of people that would, much like the labels, and they didn't have to be like the labels, and these are fans, and I'm not talking about in particular any one that I know personally, but there was a lot of people that just stopped listening to dirty rock and roll and started listening to whatever was trendy. And I'm like, oh, so when the season changes, you wear a coat. When it gets cold, wear a coat. Okay. All right. Well, this is not the winter. This is music. This is part of who you are. This should be part of your DNA. You love this or you do not love this. You love this today, but you don't love this tomorrow. That was something that, and I said angry. I didn't get angry. You do whatever the fuck you want. But the point is I just saw that shift as well. And I'm like, that's your human interaction with where you're placing your emotional value on when you hear a song or a band and you love, and the next day you're ripping their poster down and going to the mall to buy a new wardrobe. That doesn't commute. It doesn't compute. It doesn't turn. I don't know what happened when bands kept doing and writing the same, being themselves through the fire, through the shitty, the dark times. Those are the people that are still kind of legacy band and still kind of doing what they are, no matter if they sold a record or not. Oh, it's 92. I'm going to retire. I don't understand what that is.
Yeah. Well, just look at the three of us here on this show right now. We're all still dressed like we probably dressed when we were 15 years old.
I tell you what, I was a jeans and t-shirt guy in 1991, and I'm a jeans and t-shirt guy now, pretty much. I will say
I'm going to wear whatever Young wore.
There you go.
Malcolm Young. See, you walk into the store at the mall. Do you have a Malcolm Young? I'll take two.
There's nothing wrong. It's timeless. It works. It'll work until we die and beyond. Yeah. I mean, I'm just a hair on the. I'm sorry. What's that?
It's a James Dean. It's classic. It's just your uniform, right?
Yeah. I'm just a little younger. I'm about to turn 49. So I'm very fortunate in that I did not, even though I started playing in bars when I was like 17 years old, I did not wear there's no spandex photos of me floating around anywhere. It never happened. By that point, I was well into my Metallica, thrash phase, and I was listening to Anthrax and Megadeth and all that.